What's happening, everybody? Welcome. So today I wanted to show you what I've been doing all week. I haven't put out any videos. I've got all these plans in my head. I haven't done any of them because, you know, as an ADHD male, I was very hyper fixated on fixing my front flower bed. So I completely redone it. Lots of transplanting, lots of moving stuff in from the backyard and moving it up to the front yard. I finally figured out what I was going to do with $90 worth of those pink perfusion salvia. I was going to beef up the neighbors, but I did something different, which monetarily was a lot better than what I did on my side. So just wanted to break it down for you guys real quick. What we did right here on this peninsula area, I have completely rounded the peninsula with a combination of East Friesland salvia and pink perfusion salvia. So all the way down, it's pink perfusion, East Friesland, pink perfusion, East Friesland, blah, 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 all the way around. So I just kind of leapfrogged them all the way across this front, and I ran out right over here on the corner. So in order to do that, I had to transplant. We might be getting some rain because my joints hurt. We might have some more salvia over in kind of my nightmare backyard that I'm trying to pull everything out. And here's the plan. Take everything out of the backyard and then move it into Mrs. Sharon, disabled veteran neighbor, and then my yard. And so just really do up the front. I have done some transplanting. I transplanted some of those bobos. We learned that in the last Let's Plant video, and I moved those over in my disabled veterans yard, but I also used my Sawzall. Had a lot of fun doing that. It was very easy. It was a lot easier than digging it out by hand, which I have to do a little bit of that also, because the Sawzall can't get deep enough, and sometimes there's some roots underneath there. And I took 2 of my limelight hydrangea trees. I completed this bed. I just joined all of those circles to enable me to pop in some East Friesland salvia and some pink perfusion salvia over here on this bed, and then pop in those limelight trees, which are really big. I haven't really done large hydrangea trees like that before, so I'd like to see how this is all going to go down. But I think that'll be good. I think that'll look pretty. And we're just going to do that on this side because Mrs. Sharon has the irrigation. So with any luck, we will find some more plants to put over here, the in-between spaces that stay a little lower, so that way the irrigation can come over and just mitigate my hand watering that I need to do. So that's the plan. We will see if that ends up working out. So in addition to that, so that was one thing I did. So I did a little trade because I originally bought that pink perfusion salvia from Lowe's on clearance. I think we got them for like $3 a piece. Stupid deal. It was fantastic. It was like $90 worth. I was going to use that, you know, in both of their yards. Instead of doing that, I just gave them 2 hydrangea trees, and that would kind of balance it out, right? Or at least I think it did. I think, you know, they ended up winning out on that deal. What in the world? Why? I had all week to film this. Well, not all week, because I've been working on it all week. And I didn't want to film it until I got done. So my aunt donated a lot more black-eyed Susans. So I went back and I got like 3 big boxes of black-eyed Susans. And I planted them down this peninsula. What do we do? What do we do? Use your skills. So we started right over here with black-eyed Susans. And so we again did a little leapfrog, and we did black-eyed Susan, daylily, black-eyed Susan, daylily, black-eyed Susan, daylily, all through here. So we're not supposed to get any rain, but it's supposed to all be north of us, but we're probably just going to get all the unfortunate side effects of a storm, none of the rain and all of the problems. I'm going to open myself up a little bit. I wrote a song, kind of makes me feel a little emotionally exposed. I know how much you women love that. I wrote a song especially for you guys, and we're going to put it in this video. And I just want you to be gentle with my delicate ego. Yeah, because I'm opening myself up to you in this song, and I just want, you know, I need you to handle me with kid gloves on this one.
Met her at a Lowe's by the clearance rack. One look at her smile near a heart attack. Gorgeous brown eyes and a science brain. Picture perfect woman belongs in a frame. We grabbed a burger, she likes red meat. Then hit the range to go shoot some skeet. She showed me photos of smallmouth bass, great sense of humor and a splash of sass. We walked through the gardens under soft moonlight, thinking about our future, and it all felt right. She pulled me in close by the magnolia tree. I thought this girl might be the one for me. A week went by, I went to pick her up. Fresh cut flowers in my old farm truck. But when I pulled up, man, my heart got stuck. She's fine as wine, but her landscape sucks. Her landscape sucked, I know it sounds dramatic. She stuck fake ferns and lava, rock and plastic. My dreams disappeared like a shifting sand. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Hey! Her landscape sucked, I know it sounds dramatic. She stuck fake ferns and lava, rock and plastic. My dreams disappeared like a shifting sand. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Now every Lowe's aisle feels bittersweet. I still see her smile near the mulching peat. I've loved and lost and learned enough. You can't plant roots where the soil's this rough. Her landscape sucked, I know it sounds dramatic. She stuck fake ferns and lava, rock and plastic. My dreams disappeared like the shifting sands. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Guess God don't give with both his hands. Whoa. She's got beauty and brains, but the flower beds, yup. She's fine as wine, but her landscape sucks.
Should probably roll up the windows in my little Prius. Okay, so you can see where the daylilies. Now, a lot of these daylilies came from this corner over here in my pay it forward bed. Unfortunately, I paid it forward to myself. So, been doing a lot of work back here in the backyard, removing sunflowers. And when I say removing, I just mean cutting sunflowers off. I had a big, huge amount of daylilies over here by that Grace and Grit rose right there in the corner, and they were doing really well. So I had a lot to choose from. And then back here, if you look back here on the other side of that little lime, I had a bunch of daylilies that I had planted, just kind of, you know, daylilies that we just picked up that were a nice little surprise. I really liked seeing them. And it ended up working out. They would gain enough energy throughout the spring before the hydrangeas started really smothering them to where to get enough energy to bloom, and they would just kind of pop in through the hydrangea. So it was working really well, but they weren't gathering energy throughout the year, because then the hydrangea would kind of swallow them up and they wouldn't get as much sunlight. So I moved a lot of those forward to where they could get more sun, like this big clump right here, that big old clump. That was back further, and I moved those up. I also transplanted a lot of hostas. So one of the subscribers contacted me and said, hey, I live really close to you. Why don't you come by and pick up some hostas? I'm 75 years old. I really don't want to be separating hostas anymore. Let's get them out of here. Great experience. I had so much fun. I ended up helping her mulch one of her flower beds because she got a chip drop. And I don't know, I just had a really good time and enjoyed it and had a really good conversations. And then when it was all over with, I got some free hostas out of the deal. So win-win. So I'm moving in these daylilies all throughout, all the way around to the very tip of this peninsula, and we're just leapfrogging them with black-eyed Susans. Then we have Salvia on both sides of this peninsula. And then, like in the last video, and if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to Landscape Rescue. This corner that I can kind of fix. And that was really the precursor to getting all this stuff going, is because I looked at that and I was like, man, I would really like to do this thing, and I'd really like to do this thing. And then it just snowballed into an entire week's worth of work. And so that's what I did, with a little bit of distractions here and there. But and then we're going to have the bobos running across the back. Now I've trimmed all those bobos up, and so it looks a little bit more. What am I going to say? It looks a little bit more empty than it's actually going to be early summer of next year. It's going to get a lot more full. It's going to look really full. And I was kind of worried putting a lot of this stuff in here because I didn't know. I mean, I have an idea, but you never know really how well things are going to do. And so really just packing it full, and we'll let them fight it out. We'll let the thunderdome of plants happen in here, because that's probably most likely what's going to happen. So I think I've coordinated it with, when things pop up, because I think daylilies pop up pretty soon when they're in that vegetative state. And I think those and the black-eyed Susans are kind of going to wake up a little sooner than the bobo panicle hydrangeas. Oh, and then the hostas across the back, that's where I put my new friend's hostas that she gave me. I put those right back there, a little bit more ornamental. And then I separated a bunch of hostas, moved some over into the veteran's yard, kind of to beef up that flower bed over there. And then I potted 2 in a 10-gallon, which I typically do every year. I just throw them in a 10-gallon pot, throw some potting soil in there. It's relatively quick. Put some 2-year fertilizer tabs, which I'm completely out of. I'm gonna have to buy some more of those tomorrow. That's gonna hurt a little bit, but it is what it is. I have to have them. I'm addicted. I don't know what to tell you. It's an addiction of mine. I love the 2-year fertilizer tablets. So that's kind of what we did. And then right over here on the other side of this dwarf Fuji cherry, I kind of squirted in some hostas because it gets pretty shady over here. With the Japanese snowbell, kind of shades this area, and then when the sun gets further on, we got this big maple tree, right here, and then we have the East Friesland Salvia. So this, right where the black-eyed Susans are, gets a lot of sun. So this stuff is going to do well. So I took some daylilies and dug them up and moved them a little bit forward to mix in with the black-eyed Susans and the echinacea and the Grace and Grit rose and the white. Are those white Grace and Grit? I don't know what those are. Iceberg, Iceberg Alley. And so I think this is gonna work real well, and it's gonna be cohesive, because as you see, as we wrap around the yard, right, we're going to have daylilies and black-eyed Susans mixed in with echinacea throughout the entire thing. And our first layer, if we want to talk in layers, is Salvia with that leapfrog effect of the pink profusion and the East Friesland, and it'll just work around like that. So I think this is going to look very cohesive. Ideally, it's going to have a lot of mass. It's probably going to look really good next year, but maybe not its best. I think its second year, now that I've transplanted anything, I think its second year munching on those 2-year fert tabs, I think that's really where it's going to shine, and I think it's going to be really pretty. And timed it perfect. The rain started, the cooler season started. I was a little bit worried about the black-eyed Susans initially, but they're doing great. And the daylilies are doing really good. So that was it. I had to take out the, kind of broke my heart because they looked real good, but I kind of had that wild hair and I wanted to get it taken care of. But I had to take out those New Guinea impatiens that we had down here. Some of them I lost, some of them because my hillbilly irrigation had kind of like a dry spot. These stems, I'm going to show you these stems real quick. These stems don't do a whole lot for what's in front of them. That's why head-to-head coverage is important. So if you look, I've got one right over there that's 5 feet away. It sprays into the front. But New Guinea impatiens, or at least the ones I had when I had them in full sun, they required a lot of rain. The spacing was good. The ones that were getting the most water, they looked fantastic. And I really just cut them off at the ground. So we let those roots and everything decompose. I trimmed all of the, and I don't know how much of those are going to come back, because I think in some places they're biannuals or free seeding biperennial, or however you want to say it. Those autumn colors rudbeckia was probably my favorite rudbeckia. They just don't last very long. So I did cut those back, and you can kind of see in some of these areas where there's mulch kind of pulled back, there's a autumn colors rudbeckia in there. So I am very impressed. The seed dahlias that I got at Walmart that I was absolutely just smitten with, they did okay. They did a lot better before it got hot. And then when it really got hot, I think they were just kind of overshadowed. They didn't die, they just did, well, I mean, 1 or 2 did. But, you know, at $8 a piece, I probably won't do that again. What I would really like to do is I would really like to find a US-based LED company that has grow lights that we can do a review, and I can get some free LED lights out of the deal, and then we can get some content for this winter and start some seed dahlias. At least I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure I could grow them, and then get them where I need them to be, and then transplant them after the danger, the last frost danger. I think that would be fun. I think you guys would enjoy that. But then again, I've been surprised before on things that I think you're gonna enjoy, and I really don't. So we'll see, we'll see. I've had a really good time. I'm so glad this is over. I have gotten older. I have gotten older. That kind of rhymed, I apologize. But I realized that I can work like a 25-year-old. It just takes me 3 days to recover when I do it. So I can't do it every single day like I did. So what I was doing is I was just working sore is what I was doing. And I got it. I mean, there's a lot of trips with the wheelbarrow back and forth to that pile across, but it did whittle that pile down pretty good. And everybody's, I sprayed for spiders. My disabled veteran was very worried about spiders. He doesn't like the spiders. They're not his thing. When you're 6'3" and in your late 70s veteran, you're probably not scared of spiders. He just prefers not to be around spiders. Let's just put it like that. So I sprayed for spiders over there. I think that's pretty much it. I probably missed a bunch of stuff that I was planning on talking about, because I've been thinking about talking to you guys about this all week so I can get this out of my brain oh, it was like a brain slug. Just, I had to do this. And it looks fantastic. I mean, it looks, I guess I'm thinking potentially it's going to be fantastic. Really, really, and very maintenance free. I am going to add some more, I think one of my downfalls this year is I didn't have individual drip emitters going to each. I just had the spray, so I was trying to keep Bobos alive in full sun, or Bobos looking good in full sun without an individual emitter. Last year, I had 5 gallon an hour emitters going to each one of these Bobos, and they looked a lot better than they do now. So I just trimmed them back. I'm done. I'm gonna do my spring maintenance on my Bobos right now because I didn't want to look at them anymore. They were looking a little rough, but they're tough as nails. They should come out of it. So, not should, going to. They've been in the ground long enough, I could pretty much abuse these Bobo hydrangeas and nothing, no ill effect will befall them, I promise. So yeah, I just wanted to get that stuff out of my head, and I've been really busy this week, so here you go. And then in the spring, or late spring, we can kind of revisit this flower bed, but I didn't want you to be lost, right? Because this is completely changed. It's completely different than it was before. And so many more plants, wow. Man, that was a rough week. That's a rough week. All right, it's starting to rain. I'm hiding underneath the tree, so that's good. My name's Stuart Moore, everybody, and this is Landscape Rescue. Thank you very much for letting me into your home talk about plants.